for how to get government to reduce or, assuage or pad things with transport and other things of the sort.
No, what the government could also, what the Labour could also do is those critical areas, for instance, transport, what consumes the workers' money most? Some embassies in Nigeria do it. Occasionally they take a survey and see areas that their staff are, and they make some allowances. So government could also do that. Labour should be asking for that. And say, look, why don't we look at this area? If it is transportation, what can Labour do? What can the government do?
But we already see that. I mean, we see that in most government agencies. They have staff buses that take their workers home. And that would, for some people, would still not be sufficient.
Yeah.
If you're on a minimum wage of 18,000 naira, there are big questions as to what really that can do for anyone.
Now, what about house rent? How many of them own their own homes? That's the question.
But how long is that going to take? Isn't it far easier to give them something on the short term? It, of course, doesn't preclude that they will get something on the long term.
There should be a holistic thing. While you're doing whatever you have to do in the short term, pay rent and all that, okay? House rent is so much. Okay, what percentage can you afford? Why don't we increase it so that you pay less, to cushion the effect? Meanwhile, the main target is for you to own your own home. Take police, for instance. They have no business living in their offices, in the barracks and all that. They should be able to provide, because the police, they're all part of the civil servants. So they should make allowances for people to actually live in their own homes, no matter what. Even if it's a two-bedroom apartment, it's their own. That one will take back whatever distance. And the consequence of wage increase at this time, minimum wage increase at this time, is that Nigeria will not be competitive in the international space. Take, for instance, outsourcing. One of the things, I happen to be the president of Association of Outsourcing Professionals of Nigeria. And one of the challenges we have for making Nigeria an outsourcing hub is that the labor costs. India, they were able to sort that one out. That was how outsourcing, developed in India. Now, we are looking, cost is one of the issues. Companies are looking at where can we do this thing. One, the professionally done, well done, at a cost that could be affordable.
Yeah, but it would not be, workers' cost. If the companies are to look very critically, they might find that the cost of doing business in Nigeria is not wages. Wages might not be a significant part of that. What they might find is that it's the infrastructure, power and other things.
Exactly.
Rather than wages, because really, how much is 18,000 naira if we're to convert that into dollars?
Now, if talking about power, I know it's less, but they're all paying NEPA bills. NEPA charged me 15,000 a month. When I'm not running a factory, in my home, with TV and fan, I hardly watch. Dr. Nweze,
15,000. Let's not go into that.
No, take that away.
You don't have a prepaid meter?
They don't. They refuse to give us.
Oh, interesting.
They refuse to give us.
Have you complained about it?
Of course.
It's a good
thing. They should bring 80,000 and all that.
Wow.
80,000 naira. In fact, I just said, my community were going from house to house to see who can afford 80,000 naira to get a prepaid meter.
That's definitely something that the authorities should be looking into. But, looking at this debate in terms of, I remember that only recently we had a former Labour leader here, and he was saying that this time also presents a great opportunity for Labour because elections are coming. Some people also say that is dangerous for governments, even though in some ways they also need to be held very stiffly. But people also fear that they could be blackmailed into agreeing to pay what it is that they cannot afford to pay because of politics. Do you see that danger? Yeah,
there's a danger there, but the major danger is that there's a likelihood that discussion will continue until after the elections.
Is that what you see?
Yeah, that's what I see. That I'll be surprised that a concrete decision will be made before the elections. And election times, politicians will like to be nice to people, and after elections, they abandon them. So whatever policy that is going to, it's just another way of let's keep talking. We'll look at it. How many reports have reached the government?
Do you think this is political, the fact that this 30-man, because some people will say, what are they going to be talking about till after 2019?
Yes.
If that is the case, do you think that the committee that's been set up is just to say, well, Labour, we're doing something about it?
Of course, that's a way. You know, it's a mafia style. You know, if you have read that little book, The Mafia Manager, you know, when they want to get their own interests, you know, they cause confusion everywhere, keep people, you know, talking and doing things, and then meanwhile they have their own interests that, well, you know, like the Russians will say, you know, we've agreed with my people.
I'm going to have to ask you to hold your thoughts for us. When we come back, I'm going to ask Dr. Nweze whether he thinks that governors should be on that team. In just a moment, please stay with us.